At the edge of the shipping lanes, a steel giant leaves land behind and aims for deeper water.
This longline vessel is built for distance, carrying miles of cable into habitats where giants slowly glide.
Engines hum, steel vibrates, and the horizon closes in. Ahead lies water deeper than any harbor chart.
From a distance, it is just another ship, its true purpose hidden in the geometry of winches and drums.
On board, every meter of steel and cable is tuned to reach species that rarely see the surface. As daylight fades, the crew prepares to set gear that will fish through darkness and depth alike. Under harsh floodlights, steel drums begin to turn, paying out the backbone of an industrial longline. Hooks are baited quickly but carefully, each one a single point in a miles-long argument with the sea. Every crimp, knot, and swivel must survive the sudden leverage of something wider than a small car. When the last hook is checked, the deck falls quiet. The next move belongs to the water itself.
The set begins, the vessel tracing a slow path as baited steel disappears into the night black sea.
Beneath the chop, each hook hangs like a question, suspended between gravity and the pull of the vessel.
Down here, light fades quickly, leaving only silhouettes, pressure, and the faint glint of metal. At the surface, the gear seems harmless, a dotted line of buoys trailing behind an indifferent hull.
Far below, a giant ray appears, its wings spreading wider than a truck as it drifts toward the line. Its cephalic fins curl and uncurl, funneling scented water into a mouth built for endless, patient feeding.
Above, the crew sees only a pattern of floats and angles, reading tension like lines on a weather map.
Against the thin thread of steel, the manta's full form is revealed, a moving shadow filling the frame.
It circles once, twice, mapping this unfamiliar object with slow, powerful sweeps of its wings. At the surface, the set looks routine, another night of gear soaking beneath unremarkable waves. Below, the manta's wings span across the cables, a live-in kite hovering over the baited hooks.
Pectoral fins flex, adjusting microcurrents, as the animal decides whether to accept this strange concentration of food.
Flashes of smaller fish pass near the hooks, stirring the water further, adding movement to the trap.
Finally, it commits, sweeping low so that its full body intersects the invisible geometry of human design. In a single pass, cable meets cartilage, and the animal's wide body become a lever against steel.
The first surge is instinctive, wings beating harder as the ray tries to outswim a tether it cannot see.
For a moment, the entire creature is visible, body flexed in a powerful arc against the tightening line.
Each wing beat pulls the cable sideways, sending vibrations that travel up toward the sleeping vessel. At the surface, only a few floats ride lower than to rest, a subtle sign that something has changed below.
The manta gathers itself, then twists, showing its full span once more as it tries to roll free.
Hooks hold where wing meets body, turning each movement into a new angle on the same unyielding point.
Hours pass, the vessel drifts, and the line alternately sags and sings with the animal's fading strength. When first light reaches this depth, it finds the manta still there, wings spread against the cable. Now the line slowly lifts, pulling the giant upward through layers of water it rarely leaves behind.
Before it meets the air, the animal's full form drifts through the frame one last time, weightless and complete. On deck, the day begins with hydraulics, steel teeth clamping down on a line that feels heavier than usual.
Every meter hauled in is a meter less for the animal to hide in, a shrinking column of water between worlds.
Below, the manta beats its wings in short bursts, each effort turning into shudders traveling up the cable.
As pressure drops and light strengthens, its world widens again, but the line never leaves its side.
The crew feels the difference through gloves and steel, that unmistakable shift from scattered catch to solid mass. The manta answers with one long surge, wings flexing as if to reclaim the vertical space being stolen. But steel does not tire. It simply waits for muscle and instinct to run out of fuel.
Near the top, even small movements register as sudden jerks on deck, sharpening everyone's attention.
The animal slows, hanging almost vertically now, drawn upward like a banner on an invisible mast. In a few seconds, water will no longer carry its weight. The fight will move entirely to steel and deck.
The first glimpse is chaotic, a flash of pale underside and dark wings as the surface suddenly erupts.
Foam and spray explode outward as the ray hits air, its body too wide to break cleanly through. The crew leans out, eyes narrowed, trying to understand just how much animal the line has hooked.
For a moment, the mantis surges sideways, wings spreading fully across the surface like a moving island.
Its wings slap the water with deep, concussive blows, sending sheets of spray up toward the rail.
Every pull from the winch drags the animal closer to steel, shrinking the ring of water it can move in.
In one surge, the manta's full disc lifts almost free, sheeted in water, revealing the scale of the catch. Suckers lining its mouth flare as it gasps at the boundary between two incompatible worlds.
The vessel's hull becomes a wall now, a fixed reference as the manta pivots and rolls in confined water.
Steady, hold the line.
Easy on the drag.
We got her, bring it up slow.
Again, the giant spreads its wings across the surface, stretching nearly the length of a working deck section.
Men time their movements between bursts, stepping in only when the animal pauses to regroup.
A single misplaced step here could mean a man tangled in the same line that holds the ray. The winch slows, trading speed for control, as the manta is brought flush against the hull. For a heartbeat, the entire animal rolls onto its back, wings presenting a pale, rippling mirror of the sea.
Heavy straps swing into view, tools designed to turn raw, awkward bulk into something that can be lifted safely.
The goal now is geometry, getting canvas-wide wings and a long tail aligned with cranes and cable.
Wave by wave, the space for movement shrinks until the manta can only heave in place.
Voices drop to concentrated mutters, focus narrowing to the intersection of flesh, steel, and foam.
Surges shorten, pauses lengthen. Exhaustion does the work that steel alone could not finish.
In one final effort, the manta spreads wide again, then collapses as the lifting straps take full weight. Gravity replaces buoyancy as the crane lifts, water streaming off the ray in continuous curtains.
The line that caught it stays attached, a second tether controlling sway as hundreds of kilos leave the sea.
Against the hull, the ray's disc spans several plates of welded steel, its size finally undeniable.
The operator feathers the controls, swinging the catch slowly toward the open rectangle of deck below.
Crew members keep their distance, wary of any last-minute twist of wings or tail.
For an instant, the manta hangs motionless between ocean and steel, neither fully claimed by either world.
Then the crane lowers slowly, trading height for contact as the animal settles toward the waiting deck. Water runs away from it in bright rivulets, the last free movement this body will have.
With a heavy, wet impact, the giant ray finally lands on non-skid steel, becoming cargo instead of current.
On deck, the first priority is control, making sure this massive muscle cannot slide or roll unexpectedly. Boots splash through runoff as men work around the animal, treating it as both hazard and harvest. Tape measures snap open, stretching across a wingspan nearly eclipsing the width of the working deck.
The disc is measured again from nose to tail, every centimeter converted into ink inside a logbook.
40 centimeters. Noted!
The manta's skin still shifts faintly in color, even in stillness, a lingering echo of camouflage and courtship.
Each spot pattern is unique, a fingerprint recorded here before the animal is divided into weight and grade.
The deck reorganizes around the catch, hoses clearing channels, and pallets appearing like punctuation marks.
Heavy straps stay in place, no longer restraining motion, but serving as handles for the next lift downward. For the crew, awe yields quickly to routine. The clock on freshness has already been running for hours. The animal's weight is tallied not just by scale, but by how many hands it takes to shift it on steel. A digital readout flickers, numbers climbing as crane and platform lift the full mass for weighing. Length, disc width, tail injuries, parasite scars, all of it ends up as data points in a growing archive.
Even in death, the manta tells a story of migrations, near misses, and past encounters with steel. Hose water clears away blood, revealing the clean geometry of wings, tail, and gill slits one last time. Soon this single shape will become many pieces, each destined for different markets and menus.
For now, it remains whole, a direct link between the eating habits of cities and the plankton clouds offshore.
The vessel's machinery does not pause. Longline drums turn and pumps throw, even as measurements continue.
On this deck, wonder is practical. Respect is measured in careful handling and accurate records. With data secured, attention shifts fully to logistics. How to chill, stack, and transport something this wide. The giant that filled the working deck must now fit through hatches and into racks below the waterline. Each cut follows lines of muscle and cartilage, turning wings designed for flight into manageable slabs. Label printers, whereas sections of ray are tagged with coordinates, dates, and weights for traceability. What began as a single silhouette under the ship is now an inventory list in multiple languages and currencies. Deck hoses erase the last obvious traces, returning the workspace to bare steel and repeating routines.
Yet for the men here, the memory stays vivid. The day the Ray's wings nearly outgrew the deck.
Below, cold air waits, ready to turn fresh catch into rigid, stackable cargo for long voyages home. Measurements complete and product packed, the giant ray is ready for its next journey, out of sight and sunlight. Now the work slows, numbers checked again. Accuracy here echoes all the way to regulatory reports ashore.
Each crate is linked to this position on the globe, this date, and this crew's long hours at sea.
It is here, not in boardrooms or markets, that sustainability starts as a matter of record, not opinion.
For every giant on this deck, there are countless others never seen, slipping past hooks in the dark.
The vessel's records grow thicker with each trip, an unglamorous but vital memory of what the deep has given. Once the paperwork is sealed away, the manta's story shifts completely from biology to economics. With documentation complete, the catch transitions fully into product, measured now only in volume and value. This ray is not alone. Nearby, other catches wait on pallets, each with their own unseen struggle behind them. For the crew, the sight is both routine and remarkable, a season's risk stacked neatly in plastic and cardboard. Cameras appear briefly, capturing proof that the stories told ashore are anchored in heavy, wet reality. Laughter rises over the engine noise as they compare sizes, weights, and the close calls of this trip.
Celebration here is brief and practical. A small release before the next set and the next night of work.
From open air to frozen steel, the catch descends into the chilled heart of the vessel. Days later, the longliner eases alongside an industrial dock, trading horizon lines for cranes and concrete. Deep frozen portions of manta ray leave the hold, sliding into refrigerated trucks bound for distant kitchens.
On the plate, the animal becomes texture and flavor, its origin compressed into a few quiet words on a menu. Far from candlelight and glassware, the longline vessel turns seaward again, chasing the next shadow beneath the waves.